I recently had a conversation with a friend and a client, and I thought it would be of value to share this with you because these are some of my basic nutritional recommendations for anyone who is in the middle of their life, has found success in the proverbial sense, and their body just isn't really doing what they want it to do any longer. This is when people seek me out as a professional, and these are some of the strategies that I implore that the people that I work with to start practicing on their own. So I hope that you enjoy my conversation with Gary.
Optimize with Philip Levi. Welcome to the show.
Fantastic. So let's just hit the ground running. You've got questions about nutrition, and I have answers for you. But so just fire away, please.
That's great. So just for a few more seconds of context, thank you. I found our first two sessions to be really, really great and inspiring,
Okay.
physically helpful. But then your follow up, the videos and your follow up description of cars, and then the suggestions on everything was very helpful. And I'm probably not unique in telling you that I want to gobble all of it up, and I have. So
Good.
kind of
Well, why
have
don't
a
we start there? Tell me a little bit about how how are you feeling? I mean, because I've got plenty of time, and I don't want to rush your
okay.
success sharing. So please tell
Yeah.
me how you've been. Let's catch up.
Thank you. Yeah. So unfortunately, my father, you might recall, I grew up there. My folks still live there, and it's even saying it, man. I shouldn't say it. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I was out there for between 4 and 5 weeks, ending about 10 days ago, because my dad had a very bad go where it was hospital, a lot of stuff in the hospital, and then 3 or 4 weeks in a rehab center. Um,
Yeah.
when we have breakfast or a beer, I can give you the details. But it was and then with my regular work, the amount of quarterbacking I had to do just sucked up that much more time, and so I haven't stuck to discipline. I mean, the real answer is the way life works. It's actually more important during those times to take our 30 to 30 minutes to an hour to work out every day. So I really have fallen down on that, and I'm not happy about it. And so broadly, I think of you often because I want to do everything we talked about. I still have the kind of impingement pain in my
Hmm.
shoulder. Isn't completely. I don't think it inhibits my golf swing, but it definitely, when I hit something above my head trying to play tennis, I've got a problem. And so when I see you the next time, I actually found some other exercises, starting with hanging to create some space, that I'll start doing. But what you and I talked about is doing my car's work.
Right.
And like I said, I'm embarrassed, but I am where I am. I
Dude,
want to,
don't
I want to get it.
let me just interject right there. And having experience with sick parents, which is something that we all are going to go through. It's never easy, and I don't want you to beat yourself up over it because it's the crests and troughs of our lives, you know.
Yeah.
So if you're I used to beat myself up when I wouldn't get a workout in or something like that, and it does help keep you on track mentally when you do take care of yourself first, but one also has to recognize that others need our care, and sometimes that's not on a schedule. So don't kick yourself too hard for doing what needs to be done to take care of whoever
Yeah. No
needs to be taken care of. Okay.
discussion that we had that last few seconds, because the timing of me reaching out to you, I've been meaning to do it since, you'll be proud of me. I have, like I said, I have the shaker that you suggested that has a little ball in it. Look at ascent, my ascent protein.
Yeah.
So I don't know where those shoes are. I ordered a cool version of those shoes that are either should be coming here or going to come to
Okay.
But anyway, what I'm saying is it all makes sense.
Boom. Right there.
Yeah, and
There
it all
they are.
makes sense to me. Gene and I have been on a hike where it just everything you've said makes sense. And I'm old and slow and overweight right now, but I've done a lot of this in my life, and you asked, everything sounds really good, and what we do. So with all that said, Philip,
Sure.
going through what I went through with my folks is actually why I called rather than scheduling an appointment, because I realized that it's actually in those periods, as you said, of our lives where you really pay the price for not eating right and not sleeping right. And so it's actually, I want to get better, have more discipline. I bought the blue light glasses, as an example that you suggested.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I just need to start executing on all that. And I think everyone is, but I'm absolutely a example of when I get in a rhythm of working out, just that little and hopefully not little amount of physical fatigue then helps me sleep also. So what this is me trying to restart with diet, and then do better with my sleeping. And this.
Sorry, Gary, you cut off when you said the sleeping and the something. I didn't catch the second thing that you said.
Just eating properly,
Oh,
diet.
right.
Yeah. And then just for the last little bit of context, and I'll get into it, is that, like I said, the first two sessions couldn't have been more perfect. And I'm not saying this to overly compliment you. What I'm saying is you not dumping, but you conveying all these different things that should be part of the whole process was very helpful. I think for me, but it's probably for everyone. We just haven't had enough time together for us to talk specifically beyond what you've written to me about managing sleep and managing diet. So that's what today is that I have a NutriBullet and a bunch of other blenders, and have a history of, I think I understand. This is the first question to you specifically, is I think that the frozen fruit, frozen vegetables, if we were to choose to have those in any shakes that I use, still keep their nutrients, so that's okay. I try to use live vegetables and fruit, but also buy frozen so that we already have it. And so, Philip, the reason I wanted to have the call now is that I'm overly analytical, and my attention deficit makes me consider whatever the new idea is. And so on diet, I want to have you, I want to be a disciple. I want to be a Levy disciple. Sure. And so do you think it's good to, do you think I should or consider doing the intermittent fast, where I take 14 or 16 hours of not eating and then eat within my remaining window? Or is that unnecessary, you think?
So great question. Here's the thing with intermittent fasting. It is very good for you. It is how our bodies developed from a evolutionary standpoint. Some people do it religiously. I do not. I will do it every now and again. The main thing that you want to monitor here, Gary, is how do you feel when you're doing something like that? When I do fast, which includes anything except anything with calories in it. So if I were to put, milk in my coffee, that breaks the fast because of the fat in the milk. But the coffee is just water that's through being or tea or something like that. So you can have coffee. That's also going to help to stifle your any kind of hunger that you have. Intermittent fasting, good. Not necessary all the time, but you can do it all the time if you want. You're going to feel kind of a clarity about your mental faculties when you do it. I do, at least, and most of the people who I work with who practice that find that as well. The one thing that I have trouble with is that I'm 200 pounds and I am a constantly aspiring athlete, depending on what I'm training for. So my protein requirements are going to be right around 200 grams. And that's a lot of protein. So I choose at times to, I've got a shake on the other side of my camera here that I have been sipping on since about, what is it, 9:30, 9:45 when we're recording this. I sip on that just to get the nutrients in, because that window, uh, the feeding window for me, I like to have it a little bit longer. That's a personal preference. That's not going to affect my metabolism. That's not going to, uh, we'll just leave it at that for now. So if you do want to fast, go for it. Try it out, experiment around, and find what works for you. Now, here's the other thing I'll say is the 14-hour window is, that starts when you stop eating yesterday or tonight. So if your last meal is at 8 p.m., 8 a.m., you got 12 hours right there.
Right.
Right. So it's not that big of a deal. Most people read that, they're like, whoa, that's a long time to not eat. And sure it is, but most of that time you're going to be sleeping. So if you do decide to do that, skip breakfast and here's my recommendation. Skip your breakfast, have a coffee, no creamer or anything like that. Just, cowboy up and black coffee. And then maybe you work out in the morning. After your workout, have a shake, have your first shake of the day. And if because most people that are, having conversations like this with me are athletes attempting to achieve some sort of betterment or optimization, their protein requirements are going to be very close to their weight in grams. So if you're 200 pounds, also 190 pounds, 190, 200 grams. Does that make sense so far?
It sure does. And then let me be lazy. I will measure it out. But let's say for you, Philip, how much? It says it. It says so.
Yeah,
25
grams
per
Yep.
scoop. So you want to try to consume 8 of those a day.
You could do that. Here's what I recommend. I put 2 scoops per shake, and
Yep.
because I don't want to have 8 shakes a day.
Right.
And that's also going to include a digestive enzyme, which we did not cover because there was so much information that I gave you last time. I didn't feel that it was pertinent. Now that you got all your stuff, I will say that I'll send you a link right after this. It's called Digest Gold. And what it's going to do is it's going to go into your system and talk to your liver and say, hey, liver, we need to absorb this protein that we're putting into our body, because many times the body is set up so that it's not going to absorb. You see 25 grams on that package. That doesn't mean you're getting 25 grams. There are, as you know, we humans are the most complex biological machine in the known universe. And because somebody at Ascent put a number on a bag, that does not necessarily mean that you're going to get that number. If you put a digestive enzyme into your system with your morning vitamins or whatever, just add it in there, one little pill, boop. That's going to give a pass to the liver to absorb the nutrients that you're inputting. So if you take that stage that you've set for nutrient absorption and then you double up on your protein, you're going to get closer to what the actual number on the bag is, or number in your shaker is. So let's say so I'll just do 2 shakes a day, one mid-morning and one before I go to bed. And that's 100 grams right there. And then I eat normally throughout the day. So I'll have a big salad with a nice piece of salmon on it, or a piece of chicken, something like that, lunch and dinner. And then I've hit my goal for the day. And that's pretty much on a daily basis how I do it, unless I have some sort of special thing that I'm preparing for.
My friend, and that last roll through, if what you're doing is what you would suggest we do, that's why I was calling. So let me reiterate and ask one question. So
Sure.
Do you digestive enzyme taken, let's say, can I take that with the coffee, or you want me to wait until I do the first shake?
Get it in your system. Yeah, get it in your system. Maybe I'll just tell you how I specifically do my day, and then we can play off that. Does that sound fair?
Great.
Okay, so I have my son help me put out my vitamins the night before, and I have a little dish, and I have a substantial amount of things that I take. A lot of them are food supplements, like I have organ supplements and collagen supplements. You don't need to worry about that. We can cross that bridge when we come to it. But like krill oil for joints. I'll do ginkgo for memory. I'll do a few other memory things, and then I throw the digestive enzyme in that dish. And when I wake up, alarm goes off at 5. I upstairs. I hit on the hot water kettle. I'm a French press guy. I like the ceremony of making coffee.
Yes.
So the water goes on. I go downstairs and I shower. I take care of all that stuff. I come back, pour the water over. Coffee's brewing. I have a big water bottle that I sleep with by my bed. I bring that upstairs with me. Take a few huge gulps of water. Then I take that little dish and I go down the hatch. All the nutrients go in. They start working and preparing my body to receive whatever challenges the day brings on. And then I pack my coffee up. I do a little journaling, and I go and I help my clients solve some problems. And I also have a shake that I prepare and I put in my bag and I take with me. And at about 9 a.m. or so, I'll start sipping on the shake, and then my body's ready to absorb all those nutrients. And that is pretty much every single morning.
And
Yeah.
Philip, you not to poach your brilliance, but could you
Ask away.
could you tell me what you put in your shake other than the protein?
Nothing. I consider a protein shake, when I recommend these things, Gary. I don't want them to be overburdensome to people. Some people like to make a process out of the NutriBullet, throw some berries in there, and that's fine because there are so many great vitamins and minerals in fruits and vegetables. I also have a vegetable powder that supplements that because I'm all about optimization of time, because that's the only thing we can't get more of, right? So do I want to spend an extra 20 minutes a day making this shake, or do I want to spend more time with my son before he goes to school? Because on my deathbed, I guarantee you I'm not going to be like, oh, I should have spent more time, chopping vegetables. So that is my personal recommendation, and my personal practice is to make the supplementation of your macronutrients and micronutrients, for that matter, as least invasive as possible to your daily routine. So it's literally, sorry, go ahead.
I'm purposely interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Ask away.
Hey, man. So if it's possible, if it's appropriate, for you to also send me what the vegetable
Absolutely.
powder
Yeah.
is.
And
would you
and
say?
again, I didn't share that with you when we were working together, because again, if I shotgunned all this at you, it's unreasonable for me to think that you are to remember all that.
Oh no, please. Any question like that never translated as a complaint at all. Blew me away in those 2 days. So we're way ahead of expectation. But on the vegetable powder, if that's the right phrase.
Yeah, sure.
You're feeling like if we do that, then we really don't need to go get a bunch of kale or anything else and put it in that gets you there, maybe other than fiber, right?
So here's what I'll say on that. Fresh is best.
Yeah.
Frozen is second, because the freezing process will capture those nutrients. And then if you have to do processed, which these powders are, the ones that I use are minimally processed, but they have to have some sort of shelf life.
Yeah.
So think like freeze dried and then desiccated, like really finely powdered. Those are that's the hierarchy. I'm not saying never eat a strawberry, never eat a piece of celery. If it's around, eat them up. But on your day to day, when you're thinking about your professional and personal obligations, it's kind of like picking out your outfit the night before. It's like, I
Right.
don't want to think about that at 5 a.m. Like I want to have all of the minutia out of the way so that I can be a higher thought operator,
Yeah.
and solve those higher order problems.
Yeah.
That's
Really,
how I see it.
really agree. And when I've been in good rhythm with all the things we're talking about, I've done exactly that for that reason. So I just need to get back to thinking more about the whole process. And so, Philip, with that said, then fantastic. And then if we could just take a minute or two
Whatever you need, man.
and talk about, so then you do shake in the morning, and then let's say noon or 1 o'clock, you'll have one of your two meals. So then you just have two more meals, the shake in the morning, two meals, and the shake at night. And the two meals, um, can you just blurt out for a few seconds? I know there's some, and the specifics where I get a little confused sometimes is carbs good or bad? What type of carbs? You know, uh, vegetarian, good or bad, necessary or not necessary. And so the specifics of what you'd like to see consumed in the two meals would really be helpful to me.
Sure. Great question. Carbohydrates are fuel. They're they are very good for you and very necessary. What I will say is that most times, because we as modern humans hunt to produce for our tribe, our family, with our fingers on the keyboard, meaning that we don't go out and run and jump and kill antelope, or we don't move enough, right? So many times, in the industry, being big agro, I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist here, but it's true. Um, Big agriculture and big pharma, they're creating customers. There's a cyclic system where they feed us a bunch of carbs and a bunch of sugar and say, oh, you got diabetes. Well, we got something for that too.
Right.
Just as a very simple example. So limit your carbs because they are so delicious and they are so satisfying. They basically break down to sugar once they get into your body. And when you have a piece of like bread, you're like, oh, this bread is delicious. Eat it, but be prepared to utilize it also. Like if you're going to play some tennis or some golf or go for a swim, yeah, great, fuel for your journey. Where most uh, Americans lose kind of focus is we carb up and we say we're going to do all this stuff, and then we're catered this like, well, why should you work so hard? Like, you should relax. You don't need to. Da, da, da. It's like, no, go use this fuel, or
Right.
it gets stored where we don't like to see it. So limit your carbohydrates. Like very rarely will I go out and, oh, I love a big bowl of pasta. It's just not something that I look forward to. I want proteins. I want well sourced proteins, meaning is this meat grass fed or is it corn fed? It's going to make me feel different. But your body's going to get sensitive to these things also as you become self-educated through experience. So back to the carbohydrate question. You will, once you start to view the world through these lenses, you will see how rigged the system is against us to keep us full of just garbage that we do, keep us overfed with things that we really don't need. So the majority of the time, it is a high quality protein source and a vegetable source. And unless I'm going out hiking in the wilderness or backpacking, or I've got a big race or something like that, my carbohydrates are pretty minimal.
Okay.
Um,
Now,
so
Gary, hey Philip, I'm super
yes,
interrupting you again because I've got
yeah, no, 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 fine.
a 10 o'clock your time that I'm going to take, and then
Okay.
I'll reach out to get on your schedule. But
Yeah.
how about dairy? Are we completely ruling out all dairy?
No. How does dairy make you feel when you have milk? How does it make you feel? Do
Pretty
you
good.
feel? Then fine, eat it,
Okay.
drink it.
Okay.
Cheese is great, milk is great. Just know that there's a good amount of fat in dairy, but fat is also not bad either. Fat keeps you feeling full. Fat is flavor.
Yeah.
But anything in too much of anything is bad, right? Too much air, you hyperventilate. Too much water, you drown. Um, uh, uh, and let's see, that's it. Just keep everything in moderation.
Okay, man.
Um, yeah,
I'm so sorry to constrain it to this
that's fine.
30 minutes, but I'll circle back. And I think I'm going to go either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning to San Francisco.
Yeah, let's. I'm happy to make time for you always. Let me just sign off with this. My basic nutritional requirements when you're shopping or when you can see the ingredients is when you're shopping for food, stay to the outside of the grocery store. Everything in the middle has all sorts of preservatives in it, and if your grandmother didn't cook with it and you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't put it into your body. That's basically it. All righty.
Okay, but Philip, thank you so much. Wonderful to see you. Captain, my captain. I will follow what you're saying, and then I'll see you very soon.
I'll send you those links. Let's touch base soon. All right, Gary?
Thanks a lot, bud. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, ciao. Bye.
If you found the content interesting or helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you out there.